Hello, in this tutorial today, we're going to be teaching you how to communicate with ChatGPT's API backend to be able to set up the prompt and response system on a Vue component. So what we got to do to start off is just creating a new Vite app, which you can do by doing npm create vite@latest, and then for the project name, we're just going to put ChatGPT app, and you want to select Vue and .javascript. Now we're just going to follow these instructions that's written, so cd ChatGPT app, npm install, and then we're going to want to do npm install Axios, because you need Axios to post data to the backend. And once we've done that, we want to go to the project, and we just want to open up the app.vue, and once in here we can run the app to be able to see what's going on, and you see it's loaded there. We can get rid of this. For this tutorial, all we need is an input where we're going to attach a V model to it, so we can kind of call it in the script, and we're going to put a placeholder on it, just enter prompt. That works. We need a button to be able to submit the data, and so we just want to make it call a function. Let's make it post data, and then we will just make it say submit prompt, and then we just want to the response to be below, so we'll make a title response, and we'll put somewhere where the response will be displayed. And so that's it for the elements in the template, but there's no functionality at the moment. So what we want to do now is go into the script and start making it. So we need to import ref to be able to deal with the variables, and then we also want to import Axios, because as I said before, you need that to talk to the backend. And then we want to get we want to initialize the variables, including the prompt variable that we did for the input, and the response variable for the response to be displayed with the h5. And then we want to start coding the function. So we'll do const post data, post, and then we want to use async, so then we can wait for the data from ChatGPT to go into the response, because without async you can't use the you can't use the await. And we're going to do a try, so then if it doesn't work, then it can handle the errors. And then we'll call create a variable here, so then it can store all the kind of necessary data for posting to the API. And this data includes the URL where we're gonna be posting the data. And we also wanna attach the model to the res, because that's more information that it needs for the message to go through. Same with the actual message's content, which includes the prompt and the role that we're going to be sending to the API. We can use user for this, doesn't really matter. And we just want to call, not call, but we want to kind of detail the headers now, which includes the content type, which for this tutorial, it's just going to be application/JSON. And we need to put the authorization here. And the authorization includes your secret access key for your ChatGPT account. And that is seen with this variable here, the Vite OpenAI key. And we're not going to really worry about that variable right now, but we will need to deal with it in a sec. Now I've missed something here. It is that bracket. So it's looking pretty good, but we just need to fix up the like brackets and stuff. And here, because it's kind of like we need a after we post this information, we need to get the response from the backend. And so this response is seen with res.data.choices. And this is because when we say that response.value equals res, then that gives you the entire response, which involves a lot of junk. And so when we say res.data, that kind of clarifies the junk a little bit, but there's still a lot of unnecessary data that we don't want. And that's why there's the choices as well with 0, and that's because at the first choice in the data is most of the time the prompt response, and that's what we want. And so that's why it needs to be like that. And then we'll put a catch for this next one, where we'll just set it to the error message. And then that's pretty much it for the script. It's all good. Oh, this isn't good. What has happened there? I have missed a comma. There we go. And so the last thing that we are missing is this Vite OpenAI key. And we can see this because it still won't work. Yeah. And so you need to attach your OpenAI key, and you do that by typing into the terminal the command env Vite OpenAI API key, because that's the variable that we used in the code. And then in these quotes, you want to put your key, and so mine's here. And then we'll click enter, and then now, if we've done everything correctly, it should work. And this system also requires you to have credits in your account, because to be able to use the backend, you need to pay for the responses that you get and your requests. But luckily, this is very cheap, with $8 getting you 1,000,000 requests. But you gotta keep that in mind when you're following this tutorial. That's pretty much how to implement this kind of communication with the backend, and I hope you learned something.